Order. And I've handed out the agenda. Anybody want to make amendments to the agenda before we start? Okay, so first order of business are the minutes of the 26th from our last meeting that Andrew prepared and sent to us. And I need to have some comments because it reminds me of things. First thing I'm reminded of is we had a porta potty bill. Did that go to the select board for payment?
No, that's disputed. Are we just gonna pay,
All right.
the person said to Kate a different amount than,
But I thought that we'd been all through all that, I thought.
okay,
Am I wrong?
So
Well,
I had gotten an email that it hadn't been paid yet, and so I asked Karen, and I think we were confused about whether or not it had been officially approved.
Well, did we approve it? The trustees agreed that the higher cost will be absorbed into, well, it says here the trustees agree that the higher cost will be absorbed into the budget somehow. The somehow to me is a really bigger word than it looks like. In any event, we have an invoice and we have not processed it for payment.
right, also, I don't understand the amounts. They don't seem to add up. What am I missing?
Oh,
Okay, so can we ask that you and Kate get together, understand that invoice, call the vendor.
Okay,
You've already talked to him once, I think, about the discrepancy, isn't that right?
yeah, and what he said was just refer to the last
Well, that's right.
invoice which you have paid, and you'll see that it was the same process of billing. Or
As this
same,
is,
same
as this is.
algorithm or whatever.
Oh yeah, you know what, I think that's right. This reflects the budget we put in, not the budget we've been given. It was reduced because that had better inside information. Turns out it was short. They don't do winterization, evidently. That's what happened in the budget process. So I'm thinking we're stuck with this, is what I think.
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, I don't know how.
And Tom said that they would pay the cost of the porta potty rental. So I'd like us to follow through and send this to the select board
oh, okay,
so that they're able to pay it.
okay.
The town is able to pay it.
So do you want me in the minutes of last month to, instead of saying absorbed into the budget, that the selectmen will pay?
I don't think it's wrong, because I don't know how it gets absorbed. How does it get absorbed? Right, they're gonna pay it, but if they charge us for it, then what difference does it make? I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure how it's gonna get handled. Alright, so I'm okay with it, Andrew, just as you have got it. Then if we could move along to the second page, under facility considerations. And 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth paragraph, Susan asked the trustees, moving forward with the proposal to address the facility needs. I thought it was a proposal to, with a goal to construct a new building. At least that's what I thought, in my memory.
I think it was specifically worded carefully,
Yeah, it has to be careful, yeah.
which is why it didn't,
See, it's reflected below, George, 2 paragraphs below, George also agreed that a long-term plan must include a new library. Question whether the short-term plan, which is, I think that's all, maybe I make an amount out of a molehill, and we should just forget it.
yeah, I do remember there being a discussion about that, and that kind of being the wording that was fed to us from
Yeah.
after some conversation with Susan.
Okay, fine. Alright, then the very last thing, Susan suggested next steps would be looked at this meeting. And so you'll see that that is on our agenda,
Yeah, and because Susan's not here, I didn't end up creating that document yet, or at least it's not it's not ready to be shared.
Okay,
It's
that's,
just kind of a bunch
that's,
of notes and drafts.
that's
Um,
really what my question
Okay.
was gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say not prepared for this meeting
yeah,
and plan for next meeting?
Yes, although I'm gonna be in Germany on July 21st. So
Germany,
not
oh,
so
wonderful,
available.
good for you.
A high school exchange student friend is getting married.
Wow.
Oh, cool, you're going, where in Germany are you going?
Oldenburg near Bremen,
Oh,
Oh,
the flat northwest.
north, yeah. Have you been there before?
I've been to Berlin, and Dresden, but I haven't been to this part.
Excellent. I was in Berlin when there was a wall.
Ah,
but you were gonna say when there was a war.
Well, it was a very strange experience, I don't mind telling you that. And I don't wanna get off on it, we don't need to record. Okay, so, do you have any comments, Karen?
Not at this moment.
Are you able to vote to approve accepting these minutes or not?
Yes, I,
Okay. So I'm gonna move that we accept the minutes as submitted. Do I hear a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
aye.
So that's unanimously approved by acclamation. What they say in formal meetings. Okay. Caitlin, are you ready to, go over your report?
So we had 131 adult adult patron visits this month, in May, and then 11 youth, 3 new patrons, 10 attended book club, 6 attended the Fiber Arts Club, 14 attended the astronomy club event,
Oh,
3 the children's walk-in Grafton
good.
program,
Good,
7 attended the gardening club, 78 total overdrive checkouts, 31 items borrowed through the ILL, 115 checkouts from our collection, 16 of which were going out to patrons in other libraries through the ILL, and then media donations of just 16 books. So
that was a pretty busy month though.
that's a little bit busy this month. Well, last month.
Good. Can I interrupt you
yeah.
a minute? When we put Fiber Arts Club, they meet twice a month, so is this the sum of 2 meetings?
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
a little quiet.
Yeah, a little quiet, but it's summer.
So we moved some of the layout around after focusing our staff meeting in May. Actually, no, I'm backwards now. Reporting on May statistics, still talking about things that are happening in June. So we focused our meeting this month on kind of addressing the issues with the layout, and it's really just how Susan had kind of described, where you push one issue down and then another one pops up, and so we're just trying to see if we can make this small space configured
So
for
is the
everybody.
kids' corner where Leaf is? Or-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then we'll move the nonfiction over here, and we're gonna move this desk out a little bit. So it's kind of, this is a rough draft, it's temporary. And so still trying to finalize plans for the coding program and also the moth observation night during summer. And then at the last Friends meeting, we talked about setting up for the book sale. So we'll meet the day before at 4 p.m. So July 8th at 4 p.m. We still need someone to take away all the unsold books at the end of the day. The person that we had last year is not available to do that this year, so I have to
Oh dear.
make some posts and
What happens to them? Like the people who've taken them in the past,
I think
or do we
that,
not know?
Yeah,
well,
we don't wanna know.
I think the last person was like an eBay reseller or something like that,
Okay.
but they're unsold, so I think,
Well, we wanna dispose of them. Is
yeah.
that the point?
Are they real,
Do
you
you
know,
have an issue with that, disposing of them?
No, I mean we refill
undesirable
the
books?
basement every year.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause I think last year we went to $1 a bag at like 1 o'clock, and there is still a fairly significant amount of boxes of books left,
oh,
so,
Even after Andrew went shopping?
yeah.
Gosh, I thought you cleaned it out.
they were waiting for me.
Yeah,
Alright. So we're in need of some more help.
yeah, and people to carry boxes too. I
Yeah.
mean, I think most
Sorry.
of Fogel said that they would be available,
Good.
to help shuffle boxes,
I'll be there. Yeah.
so. And then the next sort of thing is talking about this tech grant and how we're gonna spend it. So I know you guys got an email, but Susan was combing through some fine print and found that, Dell doesn't allow, not exactly sure
Yeah,
how it's
federal,
worded.
it can't be
Yeah.
used for government purposes, and it can't be purchased with government.
With government funds, yeah.
Federal government funds.
Right, so we can't ask the select board to kick in ARPA funding for the remainder of what we would like to purchase.
So I would say one of the things that came up when I was at state parks was we had all this federal money, and we're looking for matching funds. If we already had government money, they say you can't match it with other federal funds. But we were told that the ARPA funds are kind of like no longer federal once they're in the state coffers or the municipal coffers. They can, once they
Okay.
accept that money, they can. That was my understanding of how we handled it at even the state government level.
Did you read this note from
Yeah, I
Susan?
did read the note from Susan.
Well,
Okay,
then
well, with all
the-
that in mind, I mean, how do you move forward?
Well, the other part of this is, I was trying to get in touch with the woman who prepared this quote, and I think we can kind of move it around, cause there are some things that, ended up on this quote that we definitely do not need, at like to the tune of like $300 or something.
Is that, can I interrupt you?
Mhm.
Is that why you've got 186 to 230 versus 565? Is
Yeah,
that the difference?
And so I haven't had the opportunity, so Susan didn't, kind of itemize why she felt that was the changes, those were, that price, but, I mean, to me, I have it all printed out here. We don't need 3 DVD drives, we only need 1.
Okay.
We don't need one of the headsets that was on there. And it doesn't seem cost effective at all to me to buy the flash drives from Dell when they're like $5 a piece on Amazon instead of 20. So,
That seems
yeah.
logical.
And then also I wanted to get in touch with this woman before we go with this quote, because
You're right.
I think that the desktop might be overkill for our needs too, so.
What was the overage again? That we were gonna be looking for town.
So
Support.
I can't remember what Susan said in
Well,
the email, but
Susan said 565,
yeah.
and you cut it by these.
300 maybe.
I
Yeah.
think it might be 186 or 230, and that's just depending on
Yeah,
how
yeah,
many
yeah.
flash
Yeah.
drives.
Look down
Really?
here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm comparing
Oh.
paper. You're trying to type.
Right.
Well, let's see. I have a general question. Leaf, are you aware of us buying these computers?
Sorta.
And is there a restriction for us, that is the library, to ask the town for whatever would be extra money?
You can ask the town for the ARPA funds, but I'm just wondering if they said this can't be used by government funds,
Yeah.
still the town's money is, town's still a government.
I think it's federal money is what the language was.
And so
suggesting.
that
It's a detail that we need to,
that comes from Dell though. And the other thing is that we don't necessarily have to go with Dell, but I do agree that they're probably better quality, and I'm assuming longevity is implied.
so, but, okay,
So-
but then, to me, that means that technically and I think, isn't that what Tom McGinty also thought was appropriate,
Right.
for the same reasons?
And that's yeah, he
Right.
was working on this Dell quote, yeah.
Yeah, it was very kind of him to help us with that, so.
Yeah.
I would also, for around $200, so we could probably find that in our library account and save.
I think, well, that's right where I'm going. If it's gonna be
That's
too
what I'm hoping for,
confusing,
too.
too entangled to get involved with the town coming up with money, why don't we just take it out of our, they want us to spend it anyway?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so with that in
More of a
mind,
messy handwriting
yes, you
is
will-
atrocious.
I consulted Next Step Consulting,
who are they?
Nate, my nephew,
Oh, okay.
and he knows various ways to save money, but, Kate thought we're all set, but if you have any questions, feel free to call him and he can get a discount and so forth. And the thing that I found interesting is, Microsoft will give software to non-profit organizations.
Does that include government? Sometimes it
No,
doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't, aren't I correct in that the Dell quote is already with discounts built into it?
I
I
think
thought
so.
that was, I didn't print it, but I thought I saw that. Which was one of the reasons Tom also thought of going to Dell. So here's my general thinking. And we can all have our own. I think we wanna make the right choice from a technical point of view, and usage point of view.
Mhm.
Right, so that's my first thought. And the second thought I've got, and I think already I've heard Andrew agree, rather than, we have to get to the final agreement on the configuration, then we get to a final price, then you're working on that.
Mhm.
And it seems to me, can we have a generic, vote? Well, first of all, wait a minute, I have to go back, we have to go back. First of all, we have to accept the grant, which we have yet to do.
So I've given the check to Karen.
And I'm happy to say, here it is.
Okay, but the motion is short, right?
Pardon me?
No.
What,
We have been issued a grant from New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, is that correct?
yeah,
All right, we as a board have to formally accept the grant. So I move that we accept the grant from New Hampshire Charitable Foundation in the amount of $4,160.
I second.
Okay, so that's 2. And Andrew,
Yes.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, so this is also approved, okay, unanimously by acclamation. All right, now we've accepted the grant and we're talking about purchasing.
What was the amount again? Sorry.
2160
Wait a minute, the amount of
of the grant.
you said 21, it's 41.
I'm sorry, did I say
41,
21? I meant 41.
$4,160.
Okay, and then we have a quote from Dell to buy a configuration that we are gonna probably adjust. So, can we,
Could we say it like we approve, so I'm wondering, like, could you guys approve this amount or lower? like,
So that we don't have to wait so long till next
because,
month?
right, because that was
Yeah, we wanna
I-
move this along.
my hope was to be able to have the computers for the summer so that the
Yes.
coding program can just
yeah.
fly.
Okay, so let's say, yeah, so that would be 4160 plus 565, 527. Okay, so if we go, I think the quote must be 4725 or $565 more than, is that what this is right here?
Okay, so there were two different quotes. One of them was where the laptops had 16 gigs of RAM, which I think is overkill.
So does,
Yeah, it's overkill. So that the lower quote, the laptops had 8 gigs of RAM, which is just fine for
Okay.
what we need. But the quote also included 3 $30 items that we do not need,
Right,
and then a $42 item that we do not need,
okay.
and then, like I said, we can get a way better price for flash drives.
So they should be eliminated from this
Yeah,
purchase.
well, from Dell, from
This
purchasing
purchase.
from Dell.
right,
So do we have to go with Dell,
We don't have to.
or can we just go to Best Buy and,
We could, but
I don't know that we get the same discounts.
it'd be cheaper?
well, so I think the reason we were hoping for Dell is because of the quality, and like I said, hopefully the implied longevity of the products.
You need Dells and HPs right there.
Yeah.
What is the total of that quote you're looking at?
4,474.76 cents.
4474, and then you want to minus from that other amounts. Where I'm going with this is, the suggestion was, we could approve a purchase not to exceed
Mhm.
some number. But what I don't want it to be is too tight.
Mhm.
right.
So I'd rather approve more than in the end we write a check for.
Well, and
Can
then
we do that generally? Can we do that loose? Or do we need to be specific?
Well, I think, yeah, we can make a motion for Kate to expend up to,
That Kate is gonna be paid by the trustees.
Karen to expend up
Right.
to 40.
Let's just say
$400,
$4,500.
okay,
Alright, then you're gonna buy, after you work these details out.
right, okay,
Right, and it'll be less than what we're approving, so, right?
right,
And whatever the difference is between 4160 and what the purchase price turns out to be, we need to take out of the Keysa fund.
with
Right.
the anything.
This is gonna be deposited in the trustees account. That Keysa money goes to the trustees account, and then you'll write the check to Dell.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Are you with us, Leaf? And the steps we're taking here?
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah.
so can Kate decide and call me and tell me to write the check, or do we have to wait till the next meeting?
Well, I'll put it
No.
all in an
If we
email.
say-
Any.
No, we're
Details.
approving it
Up-
right now.
up to-
The
okay.
authority is gonna happen right now.
So,
Okay.
so I'll motion for Karen to expend up to $4,500 for the new computers.
And I'll second that.
Okay. And then just a
And
quick
then
little.
remember, the balance, whatever that is coming out of Keysa. After all, they want us to spend it anyway, we might as well spend it on what we want.
Okay,
So, just a quick little thing, the laptops included they include the home office or whatever,
Okay,
like Microsoft Word or whatever,
Yeah.
but the desktop did not. So the things that I'll have to purchase from other vendors are the USB, the flash drives, and then one
Which we can
office
get off
bundle.
TechSoup, right?
say that again?
Yeah, I did get an account with them. I don't know how much of a discount that would be.
I think it's pretty I think it's substantial based on.
Yeah.
Say it again? What
So
are we doing?
TechSoup is a website that gives discounts for technology-related items to nonprofits and I guess
Oh,
governments, but
okay.
probably mostly nonprofits. So you
Okay.
can get, you know, you can
Yeah.
download.
So let's stop a minute. We have another purchase coming. So we have one purchase that comes with this sort of Dell package.
Mhm.
And then a second one will be this, whatever it is, software or whatever you need. How come it wasn't included?
It's just not it's preloaded on the laptops, but it's not preloaded on the desktop. And that's part of what I was gonna try and get in touch with this woman who prepared the quote to see if there was a way just to get it in there.
Well, yeah,
Or choose one that's already preloaded so we don't have
factory
to deal
installed,
with.
right? It's-
Yeah. But so it's
Well, then I don't know if we have enough of money.
well no, hold on. So when I said 186 to 230 over the grant amount, that was with me including the flash drives and one copy of Office for the desktop.
Oh, it did, okay, so that should we've approved more than enough to
I
cover.
think so, unless my
the-
math is crazy, yes.
I doubt it. If it is, we
No,
can always
I
do
hope it's
something
not,
adjust.
because-
Alright,
okay.
so we now have accepted the grant and we've approved how the money will get spent. Right, and this, hopefully this will not slow you down, it's already slowed down,
Okay.
right? Anything else for the library? I'm gonna say yes. You've got a report. You know this quarterly report business on the last page,
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by that on the agenda.
on the agenda? This
Because
is what,
it's not due yet, right, for,
well,
Not
that's
June?
what I'm,
Quite,
that's what I'm
okay.
saying. It's due at the end of each quarter.
right,
So the end of June is when it's due.
okay,
But once you know you're done, I mean, last time, for example, you knew you weren't putting any money in or charging anything.
right,
So at that moment, you're, I wanna say closed. And then you can fill this out for June,
okay,
right? Because we wanted to get it in before our next meeting, like we did last time. Now, the same thing is for you, Karen. So we should at this point be able to do, or soon, after this meeting and we've approved transactions, then you'll know better where we stand. And all, the worst case is, whatever the status is at the end of June, it's a snapshot and that's it.
right.
If the books get closed earlier and you can do it earlier, all the better, because it makes it easier.
okay.
Right, that's what this bullet meant. Okay,
So, and then would I give that directly to the budget committee, or do
No,
you guys want an
no.
email or something?
that
Okay.
comes to me.
Okay,
And I'll put the 2 pieces of paper in an envelope and seal it.
So what's the total of that grant?
we received 4,160.
And the purchase is some over that, Leaf, we've not exactly detailed
I know,
yet, okay?
I just built it out through Best Buy,
Say what?
I just built it out through Best Buy at $3,109.94. 3 laptops, 1 desktop monitor, headphones. I'll give you a DVD drive.
Okay, so this is what we asked for. This is the budget that we submitted to the grant, and that's what they approved. So, and I don't think we want to be spending. I don't know how that works when you actually spend less on the project, and then do you have to send the money back?
It'll say in the grant.
Yeah.
See, because I'm a Microsoft Home student,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need that one. You get the one that covers like 6 computers, just buy one.
Boy,
It's like $200.
So can
I
can
tried
I,
to find that,
can
but
I
it's only
interrupt
like
you
12
guys?
months at a time.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
you just put it on all your computers. Once it's on there, it's dedicated to those computers.
I'm going to interrupt you guys. You can talk about that detail,
Okay.
cause you're leaving me, I know nothing about any of
Okay.
this. So if there's another configuration or a different place to buy it from, I leave that for you and you can
Okay.
talk about. And then tell us if there's a change, cause at the moment, we haven't approved any vendor, we've only approved NML.
Right, okay.
Okay, so the next item is facility considerations. And last month, we left it that Andrew was going to be putting together, how would you define it, Andrew? You call it holistic?
Yeah, I think the idea was to look at, how did I put the notes? I think to kind of summarize the options that we've looked at in the past.
Oh, there it is, that's right.
Yeah,
Document listing and elaborating on those different options.
yeah. So I'll work with Susan on that for the upcoming meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, it's fine, we're all busy. At some point, if we're gonna start talking with the town about townwide planning, I think we start with Leaf, who's our liaison. And then you can, do you agree? And then you can tell us who to add or not, or where to jump in the lake or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna pass on this topic today. The financial report, are you ready?
Yes. Here's budget versus actual.
And how do you get this? Did Sue put it in our mailbox?
Yes.
Does everyone realize that Sue Smith has resigned?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other one,
Has the town posted that position yet?
Yeah,
Do we think
Yeah.
there's gonna be a transition period or?
hopefully.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's a weird job market now, so I get that.
Oh,
That's so
I asked
strange.
Caitlin, but she wouldn't leave.
No.
Better not. But you would be good at that. I think you'd be good
No.
at it.
You go on
Okay.
meetings every night of your life?
No.
Not
I'd
every
have
night.
to, I'd have to
Every
give
night
up
of your life.
homeschooling and
I
drag
told you
my
you wouldn't
wild,
have to. Bring her to work with you.
my unruly wild child in that office all day.
Have you seen some of the really wild residents of Grafton?
Let me caution you that we've had that before and it didn't work out well.
I got a dog kennel at home if you want to shove her in that for.
Maybe.
That makes 41. Well, I have to look at this. Any questions about this report so far? Heating. Well, we have some things here that we may not spend much money on. Shoveling, for example. That might help cover cause the restrooms are gonna overrun.
I think heating fuel is gonna kill us. What's
Heating
projected
fuel.
at $6+ a gallon? It's already at $6+ a
And
gallon.
electricity,
And electricity
because
is
their
doubling.
resource, I guess, doubled their
Go to
rates.
propane, we got a quote of $2.89 a gallon.
That's not bad.
No,
I'm paying $4 something a gallon for propane.
well, we're getting a delivery Tuesday.
What
We'll
were you
see what
going
it is
through?
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the little surprise.
Oh, good.
Yeah, cause it's as of the moment they put it in your tank. Okay, anything else?
Yes, the PO box was paid at $62 and Tiny Cat, which is, what is Tiny Cat again? A subscription to,
It's our catalog.
$300 that was paid, and, the audit. Oh, and we took in about $4 in interest. rounding to the nearest
I
dollar.
mean overall, just overall.
Yes, not counting the two that are in charge, that the trustees of the trust fund, you know, that the town
Yes.
overlook.
Yes.
These are the two deficiencies that the auditors found.
And you sent those on to everyone, so
I have
did you have a
copies if
chance
you-
to see it?
I did.
If you have a copy,
Yeah, I did
I'd
look
like a
at this.
printed copy.
Okay.
Is one of those about the raises and change of pay?
No, it's,
Not for us.
it's about,
I have a copy in the truck for you guys. For your employees to give them raises have to be, the paper has to be filled out and given to the selectmen to sign.
Is it a form?
Yes.
I'd like that, cause we're.
I have it,
Do you want
Caitlin
that or?
made a copy for it.
So if I could just summarize, I think that the findings for the audit are two policies that we are deficient. Evidently, we have no policy governing the use of the debit card. And we have no policy regarding the management of the trusts that we oversee.
I don't see how we can change anything to do with the trusts. And we just use common sense when we purchase with the debit card. I think
Well-
they're being very formal, in my opinion.
But
Right.
that's what they want.
That's how they do it, yeah.
Right? And this is simply a policy.
Do you want,
So
No, I've already seen
let
it.
me just say that I've talked with Caitlin a little bit, and thank you for the debit card information. That was a good resource. So I'm going to take the action to try to put together two draft policies, and I'll send them out during the month for review and hopefully discussion and approval at the July meeting. That's not bad though.
no,
I mean, that to me is bureaucracy.
yes,
It
yes,
had nothing to do with actual practice.
that's the word, yes.
That's important.
As far as monetary donations, we've got none. And here are the invoices.
Invoices, so you have no contributions?
Correct.
Alright, so I'm gonna move that we accept the donation of 16 books.
I second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Silence is golden. Alright, now we have approval of invoices. Now, I'd like to one day think about this. Why do we sign every page?
that's what I was just wondering about.
And
Could we just
how do I
say-
know whether they're, I don't know why we're even approving them. If Kate approves them, it means that we got what we paid for. Whether we're being charged for what we thought we were getting, I don't have any idea.
Well, I still think it's important for you guys to review them though. I mean,
Still.
just as
Do you have a summary
trustees.
Sign
page?
it.
No,
Yeah.
No.
you don't.
It's
There's
like
only
the-
four,
Okay.
unlike last time
It's
it
like the
was like,
selectmen have to sign all of
There were a
ours,
lot,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Okay.
saying that you saw it. It's just
Say that
saying,
again?
it's just saying that you saw the paper. The selectmen have to sign theirs.
What value are
every
we
week.
adding? I mean, okay, I don't see what value we're
what's
adding.
the date?
Today,
Yeah.
16. Is it 16?
Yes.
Yeah, June 16.
I don't have to sign, it's got initials.
Then there'll be no Fogel report. I'm gonna just move on as we sign these. I talked with Elena. They aren't quite ready to review the sign information. Last month, I agreed to write a request for approval to put the bench on the library lot. I reminded Elena that I need a little paragraph to better explain what this is all about, and so I'll get that.
Can I ask a quick question about the sign? So Fogel was supposed to be paying for the sign.
Yeah.
The trustees are supposed to be designing it.
No.
So who's-
Vogel's designing it, and they're gonna review with us options. So they're doing all the work and paying for the sign.
We still need to discuss the trust instruments, or whatever. Deb and Catherine are working on
Well,
getting the 300, and I forgot to jot the number down. It's like 325 or 300
whatever.
dollars from the two, Barney Flanders and Ruth Leonard funds. We can try to get it sooner, but they meet in 3 weeks. I told them before the
Well,
last.
that's their cycle.
Yeah, I told them before the last meeting, but it didn't, I don't know, didn't happen, so,
Do they want a written request?
no.
No, okay,
I don't think, well, I'll double check.
yeah.
But,
If they do, just write one.
When they meet in 3 weeks, they'll get us the 300, and of course that won't leave us with much money to make interest on, but,
Well,
oh, they said, or we can wait till November, they said, but I think we want it now,
No.
right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay, I think
I mean, we're
that,
talking about $1 worth of interest.
wow,
I mean,
boy, that would make a lot.
how much money do you have? I forgot to look. What is in your account?
So it's, I had it written down for, I think currently I have something like 443 in there.
Oh, okay, so you have,
Yeah.
you have a fair amount.
That check will be for about 300, you said?
Yeah, I could, well, okay,
It's all the accumulated interest to date,
yep,
whatever that, oh yeah, 447,
that's,
which she
Balance.
currently,
Not
she
that.
currently has. So, okay, so I think last time we voted to move the money and voted to have you transfer it from the trustee account to Caitlin's director's account.
okay,
But I think it's important to have at each step, so you're gonna get the check, put it in the trustee account, and then write a check from the trustee account to the director's account.
oh, I can't just transfer it by,
Not directly, there's no trail, it'll just leap and show up,
oh, okay,
we don't want it to just show up.
While obviously I would love to have a media shopping spree, there is also the book sale. So
Is coming up.
Yeah.
All of which is good.
right.
Which what would make like 300 to 500 a year?
Last year was
Well,
3
la-
something,
Yeah.
I remember
And,
because it was a record,
Oh what?
you said so.
Oh I did. Did I?
How do I know? I don't have any history.
I hope I didn't say so because I wouldn't have known.
Well, whatever, take credit,
Yeah.
take it where you can.
Okay.
No, that's all good. That's all good. Anything else for Karen? What else, Karen? Did you have something else?
no, I think that was it.
Invoice donation, we talked about the audit findings. Okay, any questions for Karen? Fogel, so we talked about the sign. And you told us about their helping with the book sale.
The only other thing that they really talked about their last meeting was planning for their things that they want to do for July 4th. So
Okay,
sorry if I remember.
so the last piece of business that I have is planning for the future. So this is going to be more or less an announcement of my intent to resign.
Oh,
So I intend to resign at the end of next month's meeting. And I'm announcing it now to have time for us to deal with the transition. To the extent there is a transition. But I will just say to you, I've come to realize that I am either not willing or not able to spend the time at this that I am spending and need to spend, it deserves. And I find that the requirements are colliding with my personal life requirements at a pretty high level, so I just can't continue. So I'm just making that announcement
well,
tonight.
we'll miss you.
Well, you may or may not, it'll be an opportunity for something different.
Say hooray, George is gone.
Any questions about that or anything else?
So then we make a recommendation to the selectmen to appoint,
My replacement. You'll need to decide who's chair.
Yeah.
So I thought I would
Some
start tonight, unless somebody says no, I'd start the meeting, I'd make the agenda, and right before the end, I would depart. And then you can go on and have discussions about who to recommend and things like that. The actions I'm aware of that are hanging out is the policies from the audit finding. I need to finish working with you, Leaf, on the definition of infrastructure for the quote agreement. That's hanging out. I don't know where you sit on that. We have to get together again. And I don't know of anything else. But I will say this, preparing for next year's budget. Learned a lot. I'm not gonna do it ever again. But I'm happy to be a resource, and I'm happy to right now share with you a few things that you should know. First of all, anything we think we're going to try to raise money by way of grants for, need to go in the budget. And the reason is, and I'll use this here as an example, we have a $4,100 award, we have a plan to try to get $10,000, none of which counts toward the 3K, none of it. So if you want any of those kind of funds to be covered by this 3K tax, it needs to go in the budget. We did not do that this time.
Aim high.
Aim high. I made the mistake of dealing with my history, and I thought an honest presentation of the cost to operate the library was going to be enough. Boy, was I ever naive. So that's a lesson. Aim high, because no matter what you do, it's going to get whacked. Whether it's rational or not, it doesn't seem to matter. This agreement will help us at some level. Hopefully we can come to resolving that last item. It'll make it a little easier. One of the things that you should know, Leaf, is you may hear from the budget committee that the library is not providing information on what we're doing on the trust that we hold. That agreement doesn't cover that. They have no right to any of that information. They get it once a year like anybody else. And so I'm not gonna report it.
Those trusts are defined by how they're given to us and how we can use it, by the way they're given to us.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
like that information is already out there.
It's already out there, cause we can only use it for
Oh,
how
great.
it was donated to the town.
And what it was for.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't new, exactly. So to report every month, or what they thought, or every quarter, that we made $21 in interest by fund, we're not doing the work. It's one, they're not entitled to it, and two, we don't need their help managing those accounts. So you can make a different decision, but in my mind, we're doing what that agreement says, and we're telling the town what we spent and where the money came from the non-tax money. Is that the right way of saying it? Expenses.
So I have one, I don't know what it is with my brain, I've not been able to understand this whole gross basis thing, like, at all.
Yeah, well,
But when I was at the new director training at the state library, Terry Knowles was there.
Ooh, she's
and when was this?
Oh,
a couple of weeks, three weeks.
No, I mean,
May
roughly.
13th, I think.
Recent.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So she said it's, the director works with the trustees to prepare the budget every year. And my understanding of that was that we defined how much we were going to expect to take from private accounts that we hold,
Mhm.
or not.
Right. And so,
That 3K was an agreement with
no,
previous.
nah, bullshit. It was
So,
a number
but
pulled
what-
out of the air.
is that,
It was a number pulled out of the air and shoved down my throat.
because that's
And
what's,
it's, I made a clerical error, I wrote it on the paper. Don't do that, ever.
because that's what's concerning to me, is if at some point, you know, a trustee or whoever had agreed to, put forth $3,000 every year, in perpetuity,
That's
that
ridiculous.
it's a spiral.
Guess what, it's ridiculous. And if there's such an agreement, we should rescind that agreement.
I don't
Right, and
think
that's
it
what
is
I'm
an
saying.
agreement,
So-
I can't believe it's in the
yearly-
agreement.
Yearly, we define what we expect to take from our own accounts.
That is
Right.
exactly what I was told
Yeah,
by the legal people I talked to.
yeah.
That is not the lawnmower that I got run over with in the town. It's not how it happened. So, we have an agreement, we're gonna come to an agreement, what does the town cover?
Right.
At least that defines operating costs under some agreement, and that takes the place of a preceding agreement. There is an agreement. And the only adjustment is the one I keep trying to get through, making the software an operating cost, not a, I don't know what you call it.
See, I've already talked to Casey about this, and Tom. Tom and I figure out, only thing we would be wanting the library to pay for is media, books, DVDs, that stuff in your, professional development,
That's fair.
your training.
I
That
mean,
should, the town
that to
should
me
pay
is
for that.
fair. That to me is fair, so,
But your software that you get on the computer and all that stuff, town should pay.
That's part of operating.
to me
Well-
it's operating, but we'll come to
It's
an
not- it's
agreement,
not
it'll be
to it.
written and we'll sign
New
it.
MOU, it's not.
What was that?
The MOU is, we have, they got that now, it's not covered.
It's not covered, so,
So,
we'll go over it again.
okay,
Maybe I'll talk to you in the interim, so you're not, it seems to be a little out in the dark.
yeah.
But Leaf and I've had one meeting, we started with the agreement that exists.
Mhm.
The only changes that I've made or attempted was this one. It sounds like there's more, so not bad. And if we could get the number to something reasonable, then I think, then the group can decide it's a reasonable amount that we can come up with.
Well, right, you know, and she had stressed that in New Hampshire, you know, there's this phrase, donor is king. So whatever all those accounts are, you know, they're all defined,
They're
what
all
the
defined.
original gifter,
Only one is open,
Yeah.
but we're gonna spend that up.
right. Okay,
And the worry I have is once that's gone, then the flexibility's gone
yeah.
for the library and then the town too, but that's another problem.
So then, if I understand it correctly, so say next year, we figure out what our operating budget is and then we are in charge
That
of
we
media.
want,
Right. Right.
Well, I think we have to, unless I'm wrong, you tell me, Lee. From what I understand, we have to write it on the budget. So I'll just say, so much for DVDs.
Right,
And then below the line we say, well, we're gonna cover, we out of our own money, cover the DVDs, minus DVDs, minus this, minus that, and come to a new net or taxpayer amount.
okay.
And then there can be an argument.
So, but then we can define that budget based on what the accounts balance are and our comfortability.
We
And
can.
It's not,
Doesn't mean we're gonna
we're
win.
not compelled to spend like
Not,
anyone else.
not legally,
Right, right, and
but
that's.
that doesn't mean much. It just
Yeah.
means it's against the law.
No,
We're in control of those funds, and we decide.
okay,
But the political pressure is such that that option is not a real option.
okay.
So anyway, I'm happy to be in the background. Last year you were brand new. I have budgeting as a background, so that's why I just picked it up and ran with it.
Yeah,
But someone else, and maybe you should take it over, we'll have to talk about it. It's a fairly time-consuming thing to do.
yeah. Okay.
But you're better prepared and all of that.
There goes a pay raise for you.
Huh?
There's a pay raise for you.
You've got the form. Well, before we leave,
Actually, I do have one other topic to talk
Okay, wait 1 second.
Yep.
We have in the budget a 5% raise for salaries. And the budget calculated the salaries started, the change in salaries started April 1st. So we're already behind that, right? We passed April and May and June, right? So I like to fill this form out and put it in so that the pay raises begin in July. So that's my motion. I move that we make the pay raises effective July for the staff.
I
5%.
second.
5%.
I second.
You may not get.
Say that again?
I'm sorry, I told you this before, I'd give you a raise if
I
I
know.
could.
I don't mind, but I feel like Lynn and Sharon are worth their weight in gold. So if it comes down to just slicing mine, that's fine.
No,
But
it's
Cause it actually
No,
comes
it's
down to
not.
the selectmen signing off on your raises. We have to go over the budget and see.
You have an item?
Yep. So, not last meeting, cause I had to leave early. Meeting before, I brought up putting a bathroom in this building.
Oh, yeah.
And last week I was snowballed by, Feinberg saying we can't do it. So, I was wondering why.
I think that's not, I
Well,
wouldn't have put it like that.
I don't think it was
Cause she
fine.
said that cause she was doing
Yeah.
her Fogel thing, says, we can't put a bathroom in this building. When we can.
But let's go slow a minute.
I know.
When Fogel did what Fogel did, I believe the problem was a septic system and a water supply. But
Yeah.
you've taken away the septic system issue.
And another room.
No, I understand that, but that's the difference between the Fogel, in my mind, what was done in the past and what's this new idea. To me, it's a new idea.
Cause my idea is, that window comes out,
Comes the door.
we store that window, cause God forbid any of these other windows breaks, get a replacement. That becomes a door, which is handicap accessible, cause it's 4 feet,
Yeah,
a
it's
wheelchair
wide.
can get through.
Yeah, it's wide.
You have a room from that corner of that building to the corner of the walkout, 10 feet back. You got room here, you can put all your media stuff in that room, a bathroom in that room, and then the cistern will be off to the side, and drive a spike and get water.
So to answer your, I think. to
And this
answer
can be
your
done
question-
next year,
Say what?
and this can be done next year.
It could be. So, what, we had a discussion about facilities, and yes, you had to leave. And the minutes say, okay, I brought up the idea of having a more detailed study done of your proposal, so we fully understand what it would entail money-wise and options and all that, and that was voted down. Let's see, because it would only be a partial solution to the building shortcomings of the building, and would only delay further doing something to fix the whole. Am I saying that right? The whole
Yeah, I think-
issue here.
Yeah, I think the general idea is like the bathroom is one of a few problems with the building, and so putting a bathroom addition here doesn't solve the parking, doesn't solve the ADA access, doesn't solve the space needs, doesn't kind of create a library space for the next 50, 100 years.
So don't use the money towards towards that system, right?
So rather than, if I could say it, rather than spend the money at a, can I call it a short term?
Or piecemeal or something.
Agenda,
Yeah,
save the money and put it all toward the long-term agenda. Did I say that
So
correctly?
instead of putting a bathroom in here and stop treating your employees like a third world country, sorry.
In the
Not
customers,
Put one in next year and just have a bathroom here for people and the patrons. You'd rather wait 5 to 10 years
Well,
to put.
It's not, hopefully it's not gonna be 5 to 10 years, but I think the bigger picture, like knowing that how the town handles projects like that, is that once the bathroom is there, then suddenly the library has no,
No issue.
No
yeah,
reason to
right,
at
like,
all.
it's gonna be absolutely impossible to do any other facility upgrade for the
Mhm.
building. So it's not like we're like leverage, you know, it's not, it sounds like we're, yeah.
Extorting?
Yeah, right. But we really want a long-term plan that meets the needs of the library.
Yeah. More fully, long term.
So like part of this is what I'm compiling is all of these options to lay out again for, you know, where we're moving forward. So your proposal, which is similar to what Stacy had proposed a couple years ago, it's similar to what, I mean, I think was really first brought up probably 10 years ago.
But
at
this
this
wouldn't
point.
cost the town
No?
anything.
Well, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
It would cost
How?
something. New construction, regardless. I mean,
Yeah,
it
how are you
it's still
gonna
tens
build
of thousands of dollars of an investment.
You have $60,000 in a revolving account for upgrades and upkeep of this building.
Yeah. So what we're
This
saying is
is-
And
that
then L-chip that you matched the grant,
yeah, LCHIP won't fund that. But the what we're saying is that that $60,000 is money that we have to possibly leverage more money for a proposal that meets the whole needs of the town. You can laugh. But
I don't
again,
know, because
that still
the
doesn't
library
solve.
is
So,
not
okay, but
like
we're not gonna
The
debate
No,
it
I'm
library's not
at the
like
moment. I think,
that, not this one, putting one in there is
but
not like the
I
rest.
think you're going to come with a synopsis of items that'll include the old proposal. To me, this is not a finished discussion. To me.
I
I think, I would caution putting all the eggs in one basket. The basket can get moved, and I'd be concerned about that. My personal concern. And then I'll give a speech a month from now. It'll be meaningless, but I'm gonna say it at that point. So I personally think it's worth looking into, but it was not supported. Anything else? No, nothing else? Then, being 7:02, I call the meeting to a
I will
close.
just say that July 21st does not work for me. So if we want to
Oh.
come up with a new,
I think we
new
should.
date,
God, I can't do it off the top of my head though. Well, how long are you going for?
so the week before is July
14?
July 14th.
Is that good?
That works. Or the week after
So that'd be 28.
is the 28th. Yep, and that also works.
Okay, okay, how about if I've now know from you, I have to check for myself.
Okay. Kate, are there days either of those don't work?
Could I request the 28th instead of the 14th? Because, I mean, library people are going to be burnt out from the weekend before. So,
Oh, so you prefer the
I'll bring some
28th?
energy drinks.
Okay, but I'll ask Feinberg, Elena, and Leaf.
I won't be here the 20th.
that's
You
fine.
will be here the 28th?
It's really pointless for me to come here for 45 minutes. Because the week after my planning board, I have to be at the planning board. I don't be.
On the 28th.
Yeah,
That was crazy, that.
yeah,
Too broken up.
I have to be there, I don't have to be here.
How did that work out? Was it good? Did you get there on time
Oh, yeah.
and all of that?
Yeah, it was a boring meeting.
Okay, so 28, no good. So you're for the 14th.
Yeah,
Right, and
Okay,
you and
can
I
do
will
it.
talk.
Well, I can do it.
it's just you, Jesus, woman. Take a nap at your desk in there
So
today.
do we officially end the meeting or, anyway, I mean, you said and then Andrew said.
Well, unfortunately, I ended too quickly. I think the point is we have to find a new date. But we were adjourned at 7:02. We don't have to, but I think I'm of the opinion that we should try to make sure people.
Oh, he's gone to one of the things.
Alright,
He's gonna get a form.
Oh,